Hello, world. You're watching the 45th episode of World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions show. This is the show where we celebrate brilliant minds from around the world who share with us their story, one story at a time. Warmest welcome to our pre-Christmas special. Ready for some festive Christmas cheer? Today, our featured guest is Mike Facherty, Father Christmas at Henley Santa, actor, producer, director, and storyteller. He will share his inspiring story with us in a short while. Thank you for joining us live or on replay. I'm Viva Andrada O'Flynn, your host and Global Media Relations of World Humanitarian Drive. World Humanitarian Drive, also known as WHD, is an international NGO founded in Croydon, UK, by British Indian global peace activist, entrepreneur, writer, Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed. The primary vision of WHD is to promote peace, education, and trade harmony initiatives globally among everyone across the world, regardless of race, gender, religion, or nationality, living as one family. WHD is striving for humanity. This Inspiring Millions show is your show. As always, we encourage you to engage and interact with us. Please help us spread inspiration to the world by sharing this link. Put your questions that you would like to ask our guest, Mr. Mike Facherty. Greetings or comments that you have for us in the comments box. We would love to read them later on in the show. Let us also know where you are watching this. Wherever you are in the world, let us keep you company and brighten your day as we share peace, love, and goodwill. It's only 15 days to go until Christmas. How are your Christmas preparations going? While not everyone in the world celebrates Christmas, we can probably all agree we are all in need of inspiration and holiday cheer. To get us all into the festive mood, we have with us Mr. Mike Facherty. He is Father Christmas at Henley Santa, actor, producer, director, and storyteller. Let us all welcome Mr. Mike Facherty. Welcome and thank you. We're so chuffed to bits you're here with us today to get us all jolly. How are you today, Mr. Mike Facherty?
Well, thank you, Viva. I'm really well. I hope you're well.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent.
So, Mike, let's get this conversation started. So, you're an actor, producer, model, writer, director, storyteller, Father Christmas at Henley Santa. So, could you please give us a backstory, what you consider the most important highlights of your life?
Gosh, yes. Well, I guess the highlights of my life, I suppose, are meeting and marrying the love of my life, Sue, having two wonderful sons, and then having three wonderful, wonderful grandchildren. And I guess in the context that we're talking about, one of the great highlights was taking on the role of Santa. I've played Father Christmas for a long time, and I absolutely love it.
So, Mike, what did you do before you were Father Christmas? How did you get started on your career? Could you please talk us through it?
Yes. Before I played Father Christmas, I was mainly working in an office job, and it wasn't that fulfilling really compared to what I do now. But I used to, in my spare time, I was writing. I did some freelance journalism, I wrote poetry and stories, and started doing some acting and some stand-up comedy, and then got involved in filmmaking. But then I discovered being Father Christmas. I was asked to do it by the children's school, and the man that usually did it let them down, and I loved it. And since then, that's probably been, apart from family, it's been the main thing in my life is storytelling and being Father Christmas and telling stories as Father Christmas.
So, what's the best thing about being Father Christmas?
Well, I think the best thing is how happy people are to see you, and that you get to make a difference. You can take an unhappy child and make them happy, you just spread joy. It's a wonderful, wonderful job.
So there's COVID-19. What role can entertainment play in a time of crisis such as what the world is experiencing now?
Yes, the impact of COVID has been dreadful. And what entertainment can do and what entertainers can do is take us out of ourselves a bit so that we don't get bogged down in all the bad stuff and we can actually enjoy life and listen to stories or watch films or watch something on the television, listen to the wireless. And for a little while, we can get into that world. I mean, if I'm telling you a story of Jack and the Giant Killer, you're not going to be thinking about COVID. I think that's really the main role entertainment can play, is keeping people's spirits up.
You're definitely keeping our spirits up today on this episode. So, how has the pandemic affected your lifestyle? What are the activities that you have been doing during the pandemic?
Well, it's actually had a good impact on my lifestyle. In the first lockdown last year, my wife and I started going out for walking because we were allowed to go out for an hour a day. We actually had probably never bothered doing much, but we got into the habit of going out and walking for an hour a day down by the river, and it was lovely. And the other side is, up until the pandemic, on a personal level, I just told stories in the local parks and at local fates. But since we've had COVID, I've been able to listen to and tell stories all over the world. I've listened to stories in India, told stories in India at the Chennai Storytelling Festival, and in America and Canada and Scotland, Italy, Germany, and all over different storytelling clubs in England, which I would never have known about had we not been driven onto Zoom. Obviously, it's an awful thing, the pandemic, but there have been benefits, and I think for other people too. I think, for lonely people, there's actually been a chance to meet people without having to put themselves into the room with them. So I think there have been positives as well.
Mike, you were also brilliant at finding opportunities. So there could be people watching now who are feeling hopeless, maybe helpless, maybe they're jobless. So what would you like to say to them about finding opportunities in these times?
I think there are always opportunities, and I guess what I would say is think about what you like doing, what you would like to do, what you're good at, what you would like to become good at, and use that to try and think of, well, if I do that, what can I do with it? And there will always be, it may not be a paid job or anything, but there will be opportunities. Um, for instance, if you'd like to see a bit less poverty, you could get a job in a charity shop and help through that way. There are always opportunities, even if they're not necessarily career opportunities. I think at the moment, if there are people sitting at home who are lonely and don't feel like they're worth anything, there's a wonderful initiative going on at the moment called Goodbye Lonely, which is the website is goodbyelonely.co.uk, and it's been organised by a chap called Keith Grinstead, and there are meetings all through December online where people can meet each other and talk and have advice sessions or do some comedy stuff or do a quiz night. And there's always opportunities like that that are available if you can find them. Is that any good as an answer?
Yeah, so goodbyelonely.co.uk, and also there are many opportunities to find. Thank you for sharing that,
Absolutely.
Mike. So what do you consider are your unique skills, your unique selling point that has helped you become successful in your career?
I don't really think there's anything unique about me. I'm a kind person. There are hundreds of kind people. I I enjoy entertaining other people. Thousands of people do, and I just try to find opportunities to enjoy myself and to do some good at the same time. And I think most people do if you think about it.
Thanks for sharing, Mike. So you're an actor as well. So as an actor, what has been your most unforgettable, your most favorite role so far?
I guess generally playing Father Christmas in various short films and adverts and things, but I think my favourite role, and it's a really silly one, I was playing a gangster in a low budget film too. They were filming in the woods, and I was shot, and I collapsed on my back, half in, half out of a stream. It was freezing cold day, cold stream. Next thing I knew, the director was kicking my foot and saying, "Look, we're going to go with the scene again. This time when you die, can you land on your side? That way your corpse might not be snoring." Oh, and that sort of stuck with me because it was such a stupid thing to do, fall asleep in the movie.
So that was really hilarious. So, Mike, what is the story behind the name Henley Santa?
Ah, well, when I retired and then started playing Santa as a paid job, I started out as Reading Santa, and people always thought I was going to turn up and read a book. So in the end, I thought, well, Henley's just down the road. I'll be Henley Santa, and then it's not going to create that sort of false expectation. Plus, I had a feeling that Henley was a good place to be based on because it's on the river and everyone knows it. I didn't realise there was a Henley in Arden and that people would phone me up and say, "Can you come and do a Santa job?" And it was up in the Forest of Arden, not down here. I didn't think that one through.
So, Mike, you're also an author. Can you tell us about your books?
Yes, as well as having various poems and short stories published, I've got three of my own books. Oh, children's picture books that I've had published. Um, they're all about Christmas, oddly enough. So I've got like Santa and the Lighthouse, Atul's Wonderful Christmas, which is based on a story from Punjab about the boy who dreams of having a drum. And my personal favourite of my ones, Santa and the Gingerbread Man, because I thought the gingerbread man had a rough trot because he winds up being eaten. I thought that wasn't fair.
Mike, can you tell us the story about Santa and the gingerbread man?
Ah, you've got us both there. You've got me and
Yeah.
the gingerbread man. Absolutely. It's this is the book Santa and the Gingerbread Man. I wrote the story. Well, I nicked most of the story from the old story, and a young man called Mudasir Mabid did the illustrations. He's done a great job. Can you? It's hard to get. Can you see those pictures?
Yeah, I can see it.
Aren't
Thank
they
you. It's
great?
really nice. Yeah, it's great.
Right. The story goes, Granny was doing some baking, and it was Boxing Day. The family were going to come over, her children and her grandchildren. So she was baking cakes. What's your favourite cake?
My
Viva?
favorite cake.
Yeah.
I actually bake cakes, so all cakes are my favorite. I like chocolate, strawberry, any.
She'd made chocolate and she'd made strawberry, but to finish off, she was making a big tray of gingerbread men, and she took them from the oven, put them on the cooling rack. You'll know all about this. This is the technical stuff, and she started decorating them. And just as she was decorating the last one, she was putting on the fondant icing. The first one, he jumped off the rack and down onto the floor and ran out into the garden. Granny shouted, "Stop, stop!" and started after him. And he turned around and I bet you know what he said, but I'll tell you, I'll remind you this first time. And he said, "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." He was right. Granny couldn't catch him. She was an old lady. She was quite slow. And he ran out of the garden. He was running down the road. And there was a coo. A coo? There was a cow. It wasn't a Scottish cow. It was just a cow. And it said, "Moo," which of course means stop, stop in cow language. And the gingerbread man kept running and he called out, "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." The cow couldn't catch him. And as he ran along the road, he ran past a dog. And the dog went, "Ruff, ruff, ruff," which of course means stop, stop in dog language. And the gingerbread man called out, "Can you do it this time, Viva?" What did the gingerbread man call out?
Run, run as fast as you can. Was that the one?
That's
You
it.
can't catch me. I'm gingerbread man.
Fabulous. Great version. And he was right. The dog couldn't catch him. Then he ran past a horse. Now, you know how fast a horse can run. But even horses, you listen, it went like horses do. And that meant stop. But the gingerbread man didn't stop and he called out, "Shall I do it this time?" Okay.
Yes.
Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. He was right. Even a horse couldn't catch him. Amazing. Then he ran into the woods, and there was a fox. And the fox said, "Hello, little gingerbread man. Why don't you come back to my place? You can have lunch with me." And the gingerbread man, oh no, he kept running and he called out, "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And he kept running, but the fox just got up and walked after him very slowly and casually because the fox knew something the gingerbread man didn't. And the gingerbread man came out of the woods, and there was the bank of the river. There was no bridge. He was stuck. The fox strolled out behind him and said, "Oh dear, little gingerbread man, you appear to have nowhere to go. That's unfortunate, isn't it?" And he licked his lips. And the gingerbread man looked really worried. I think he was right, don't you? I think he was right to look worried. But just then, I saw what was going on, and I came down in my sleigh and said, "Jump up, little gingerbread man. Come back to the North Pole with us. We're not going to let any old fox eat you." And he jumped in, and we flew back to the North Pole, and he stayed with us ever since. And the elves all love him, and they make little badges with pictures of him on them. And do you know what Granny did? She decided that very day she'd never make another gingerbread man. Instead, she makes gingerbread Christmas trees, because like she says, Christmas trees never run away, do they? And that's that story.
Oh, that's so awesome, Mike. So here's Gingerbread Man. So you're also a storyteller. What is the importance of storytelling?
Oh, I think storytelling at the moment is vital because we get so many sources of information that are hard and harsh. And storytelling can be comforting, it can be challenging, and it can make you think about things. And I think one of the great benefits of storytelling, as opposed to, say, a television report, is it gets you to use your mind, use your imagination. Someone once said, "I'd rather listen to the radio than watch television because the pictures are better on the radio." And that's how it is with stories. If I'm telling you a story and not showing you a book, you have a picture. You picture a gingerbread man, you picture the horse, you picture the cow. And it's your imagination that's working to make those pictures. And your horse and my horse probably look totally different. And Mudasir's horse is different again. But that's so stories, they can give you a comfort, they can make you think, and they're a way to preserve tradition. They are a way to preserve traditions which may be being under attack because there are governments all over the world that are trying to stamp out certain traditions, and stories can help preserve those traditions.
So,
So we're
Mike, what
getting
are the
serious.
yeah, well, that would be nice to know some more of that. But what are the benefits of listening to stories?
I think if you're listening to stories, you're growing closer to the person who's telling you the story. I mean, I love making up stories and telling stories with my grandchildren, and they do bring you together. You're working together on a story, as opposed to if you see something on the television or see a film, you're both putting stuff in. And I think it's good for children's confidence that they know that they can do story, they can listen. And the big benefit of story, I think, is that it is a coming together. Um, that's how I feel.
That's a great definition of storytelling. It's about coming together as well when you listen to stories. So, Mike, you're Father Christmas as well. So, how do you get ready for being a Father Christmas? What are the preparations that you make?
Right. Well, for me, it's very easy because I got a real beard, and a real belly. I already look a bit like Father Christmas. So if I put on a Father Christmas suit, wow, I'm Father Christmas. And I sort of got a childishness inside me and a kindness. So I'm in character already for Father Christmas. And then it's just a case of putting on the outer appearance of Father Christmas to be there. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely, Mike. I'm just gonna read through the comments of our virtual audience.
Okay.
So Vaishnavi Rajan is saying, spreading joy is the wonderful job. You're doing great. And then we have a question from Tongi Gra. He's saying, as online events is developing more and more since the beginning of the pandemic, do you also do online Santa gigs?
Yes, I do. Last year, when we went into tier three in the well, no, in England, we went into tier three, and I could no longer even do doorstep visits, so I couldn't go to people's houses. My grotto had already closed. Then I was doing home visits, then they weren't allowed. So I was doing doorstep visits, then they weren't allowed. And I started doing Zoom calls with people. And that I was surprised how well that worked because like sometimes you get a child at the grotto or when you're visiting who's not very happy. With the Zoom call, they're at home, they're in control a bit more, and they tended to be happier with that situation. And also, they when I'm in the grotto, the children can't bring their pets to me, but when I was talking to them at home, they can say, "This is my new puppy," or this out that window there, that's where my horse is. You know? And there was a little girl who said, "I've been really practicing, Father Christmas. Listen to this," and she went over to the piano and played a Christmas carol. And that's the sort of thing that can't happen in a grotto, but the medium of Zoom has allowed that to happen.
So there's also magic with using Zoom. So
Yeah, I mean, here I am. Obviously, I'm at the North Pole outside one of the workshops, and I'm also in your home talking to you and listening to you. And of course, with the Zoom, you get a chance to prepare beforehand. So I know that your name is Viva, and I know that what you wanted for Christmas was a Barbie doll. And I know that you've been very good. You've been wonderfully good. And in fact, you've done such a good job this year. I'm blown away.
so as a father Santa, what do your responsibilities entail?
I think if you take the role of Father Christmas seriously, then your responsibilities are to maintain integrity of the character, to never act whilst you're being Father Christmas, never act in a way that you don't think Father Christmas would act. So if a child's being naughty, it's not Father Christmas's job to tell them off because Father Christmas wouldn't do that. And I think the other main responsibility is to encourage children to praise them because the more praise you give, the more they deserve praise, and to show them kindness and to try to encourage them to be kind as well.
So you mentioned something about children having praise. Why should parents give praise to their children?
There are lots of benefits in giving praise to children. First of all, children are worth praising. Sometimes we don't notice, but it's a hard job being a child. There's hard work growing up, and they do wonderful things. And the more you praise them doing wonderful things, the more they will do wonderful things. So if a child is kind to the baby, and you say, "Oh, that's what. Oh, thank you. You were so kind to the baby," and all that, that encourages them to be kind to the baby again. Whereas if they're a bit mean to the baby, and you say, "Oh, you mustn't be mean to the baby," you're you're building on the meanness rather than on a kindness. So I think praise encourages good behaviour.
So, Mike, you have dressed as Santa for years. How have you kept it a secret from your family?
Well, I've never been able to keep it a secret from my own sons because my first outing as Santa was for their school Christmas fete when the normal guy couldn't go. And in those days, I had ginger hair and ginger beard, and I'd sort of put on a fake beard and a fake moustache, but I'd forgotten my eyebrows, and they were just ginger eyebrows, and they recognised me. They said afterwards, thank goodness, not in front of their friends, they said, "That was you, Dad, pretending to be Santa, wasn't it?" And I had to explain that yes, Santa's got so much to do that sometimes some of us help him out by pretending to be Santa to so that children can get to meet him, even though it's actually just an ambassador. But my grandchildren, well, as far as I know, they don't know that I play Santa because they've never seen me in the suit. It's a bit of a shame because I would have loved them to have come to my grotto, and that's something which the false beard Santas can do. They can take off the false beard and they look totally different, and put it on and they look like Father Christmas, and the children don't necessarily realise that it's actually their dad, their granddad, playing Father Christmas. Um, I'm hoping as they get older, maybe they might even want to be my elves. That would be lovely. The boys never did.
So, Mike, what do you consider the most difficult challenge that you've faced in your career, and how did you overcome it? What did you learn from it?
Well, I think in terms of this question, I would have to say I don't think I've faced any real challenges, so I can't really give a good answer. Um, I suppose one challenge is forgetfulness. I do forget, and I've got I did the NSPCC Santa letter one year, and I forgot to put on my black belt. So, and I just forgot. And what I've got now is I've got checklists of things that, have I got my Santa glasses on? Have I got my belt? Have I brought gloves with me? I have nice long white gloves that make sure that, I look like Santa, and I wear white underwear that comes right down to my wrist, so the glove and the underwear link up, so that when I wave, you're not seeing a bit of arm, you're seeing just white and red. So I guess I was thinking I hadn't had any, but forgetfulness is probably been a challenge, and the workaround is trying to maintain lists and remember to check calendars and check lists and get everything right. And I mean, that's been helped a lot by having a really supportive family. So they will say, "Have you got your gloves?" Yes. Have you got your key? No. But even this week, I went out to a gig, and when I got there, I thought, I forgot to get my phone with me. I can't phone home for a lift. But fortunately, someone else was able to phone for me. So that's it for me. I think it's not much of a challenge, is it? But that's what it is.
And being a Santa is like a team effort, and you also need the support of a VA or something like that to get scheduled. So, what's the importance of having backup support like a VA?
Yeah, I last year it was the first year I didn't do it through a grotto, because normally I'm working in a grotto and that's taken care of almost all of Christmas, apart from a few personal visits and home visits. And it was the first year I'd done it without the support of the grotto, and I found I'd I'd scheduled myself to be sort of in Bracknell at 5 o'clock and 20 miles away at 5:30, and to do a visit and then go, and it just didn't work out. So this year I thought what I need to do is recruit a virtual assistant who can actually be my chief elf, if you like, and do all the scheduling and the diary work and chasing up payments if it's needed, because I hate doing that. And it's really made it much, much better. I've forgotten a lot less this year because, as well as the family support, I've got this virtual assistant who's sending me a daily schedule saying, right, today you've got this, and this. And it just makes life much simpler. I can concentrate on the stuff which I do best, which is pulling out all the information about the children from the forms I've had from the parents to generate my nice list certificate, so that I can give it to the child to say, yeah, you see, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've been so good this year. Thank you. And of course, that helps with the forgetfulness as well, because I've got this nice list certificate which tells me the child's name and tells me all the things they've done that I want to praise.
And I'm sure the children really like receiving that one as well, the certificate.
Yes, I think it's really nice, and for the children, if they're two or one or two or three, they don't know anything about it. But the older children are really pleased to have that. And I've been told that as well as putting them on the fridge at home, they'll take them to school for show and tell and say, "Look, you see, Father Christmas has said I'm really good, and they said how well I did at the maths test, how well I did looking after my dog." There's always something you can pull out to praise. Sometimes you don't get enough information, so I've done a few where I've said, "You're my favourite 2-year-old," because I've got nothing to do it build it on. So it's always worth people giving me some good information about the children so that they can get a really nice certificate.
That's great, Mike. So let's talk about Christmas. What is the meaning of Christmas for you?
I think for me, the Christmas really means being kind. I mean, I keep coming back to being kind because I think it's one of the most important things that we should do. And Christmas is families getting together and people not having to be lonely, which go back to, goodbye lonely. Um, Christmas is warm, it's loving, but I'm afraid for all too many people in the world, Christmas is just one more day and they don't have all that. And I think that those of us who do have that have a responsibility to try and spread the joy, send some money, send some food, whatever, to help the people that are perhaps in a crisis.
So let's spread the joy. And then we've got some Santa jokes. Do you want to hear them?
No, but go on.
There's a joke. Why is Santa so good at karate?
Oh no. Why is Santa so good at karate?
Because he has a black belt. You
Oh,
got it. Okay, so why was Santa's little helper so sad?
I don't know.
Because he had a low self-esteem. Oh, and then is this true? Who was Santa's least favorite reindeer?
Olive. But what's the joke?
Rudolph, because he's rude.
Oh, right. You see, my personal least favorite reindeer is Olive because in the song about Rudolph, it sings Olive the other reindeer laughed at him and called him names, not games. So yeah, I mean, I don't have a personal favorite or unfavorite, least
So
favorite.
what are the names of your reindeers then, Santa?
Right. Well, the original crew, the original eight, you've got Dasher and Dancer, Cupid and Prancer, Comet and Vixen, and Donner and Blitzen. And now, of course, we've got the new guy with the nose, Rudolph. And I think there's Olive, but some people say no, it's just all of. So I don't know. There's at least nine reindeer. I mean, we have herds, but if you like, when you join the team, you join as Rudolph. So you might have been known as Twinkle Toes when you were a calf, but now that you're in the team, you are Dasher, you are Dancer. It's sort of a role as well as a name. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so Santas still go to school, where there's a school that where they study being a Santa. Could you tell us more about it, Mike?
Yes, there are quite a lot of Santa schools in the world. Most of them are in America. We have a couple in Britain, one in Scotland, one in England. I often go to the one that's in England, in London, which is run by the Ministry of Fun, and it's Santa School is basically to give Santa some training in, or people who are going to help the real Santa some training in, making sure they know the reindeer names, learning Merry Christmas in some foreign languages. So that can backfire. One of my friends was being a Santa at Harrods, and he heard some people talking Welsh, and so he said, Nadol Llawen, which is Welsh for Merry Christmas. And they all came over and started talking to him in Welsh, and he couldn't understand any of it. And he had to say, okay, I own up, I only know Merry Christmas in Welsh. But there's lots of different versions of um, Merry Christmas around the world, as you can imagine. Even here, there's Makaton is Merry Christmas. It should be that way up. That's Merry Christmas in Makaton. My name is Father Christmas in Makaton. So we even learn a bit of sign language as well, which is very helpful because some children come in who either are deaf or are challenged for language but can do a bit of signing, So there's lots
And
you learn. Some of it easy, some of it harder. You learn when
yes,
to be
Mike.
loud. If you're going into a big crowded room, you ring your bell and you're ho 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 really loud. And when to be quiet. If you're in the grotto and you've got a shy child, you say, "Come along in. Hello, sit down," or "Sit beside me." All things like that you learn as well.
That's really just so interesting. And then also, Mike, you've also been in advertisements as Father Santa, like Virgin Media, Morrison's. Can you tell us more about that as well?
Yes, yeah. Um, Virgin Media was a fun one because I got to go to Gatwick Airport and hang out and sort of pretend to be pulled along by a plane, and then had the stewardesses helping me load parcels into the plane. And it was the basic story behind it was I had a problem with my reindeer, and so Richard Branson was lending me a plane to help with delivery over Christmas. Morrison's, I went with reindeer around the country to about, I think it was 4 places where people had won a competition to have their Christmas food delivered by Santa. But my very favourite was one for Amazon, which was Letters to Santa. And in it, children wrote letters and they were filmed writing a letter and saying what was in the letter. And then in the set, there was a chimney, and I came down the chimney and came out. I was able to talk with them about what they'd written and things. And they were asked various questions. One little girl was asked, "So what does Santa wear?" And she said, "He wears a white wedding dress." So I was able to come out and say, "What's this you're saying about I wear a white wedding dress? This is what I wear. I wear a red and white suit." And we had a laugh, and then I was able to give them the presents that they'd asked for. That was lovely. I really enjoyed that one.
Those are really wonderful memories that you shared with us, Mike. So there's another joke from Tongi Gra. He's asking, his joke is, why is Santa scared of chimneys? Because he's claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic, yes. Chimneys get a really bad reputation. There's all these songs about me getting stuck in the chimneys. I never have. They're just nonsense. I mean, imagine Santa got stuck in the chimney. Ah,
So, Mike, how is Christmas this year different from any other year?
well, I think at the heart of it, it's not that different, is it? We're still going to see family and friends, whether it's in person or over Zoom. Um, we're still going to be kind to each other. We're still going to be giving to each other. It's just that, if you like, some of the circumstances around it are different. So, you know, on a different year, we might have met up one on one to do this interview. This year, it has to be over Zoom. So things like that are different. But I think the heart of it, having enough to eat, seeing family, that should all be the same really this year. Yeah.
Mike, what would you consider are the best bits of 2021 so far, since New Year is almost, yeah.
Um, I think probably from a personal point of view, I think the best bits of 2021 is how people have connected through Zoom, and how, well, I say Zoom, but Zoom and Teams and all the different things, and how it's perhaps where people have lost members of their family. It's made people realize how precious life is, and how much, not how much, how at risk life is. And I hope it's making people enjoy life more while they can, and make the most of their friends and their family, and thinking, I'm not going to sit at home and be lonely. I am going to, even if it's through a screen. That's what I hope. And certainly from my point of view, what's happened in 2021, that which is so wonderful, is it's opened up the world to me because of doing storytelling online. So I've been able to hear storytellers I would never have been able to afford to go and listen to, but on online I can just come in, and maybe it's £5 for a ticket or something, rather than £200 for a travel and then £5 for a ticket. I think that's the benefit. I think, like, one of the very few benefits of this horrible business with COVID.
Yeah, now you're here on World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions show. So, Mike, what do you do after Christmas?
Well, my last Christmas visit is normally on Boxing Day. I have a family that all come together, um, and we celebrate what they've had at Christmas, and the children tell me what they'd had, and I tell them stories and give them another present each from their grandmother. But then it's kind of time for me to relax and spend time with the family. And from Christmas through New Year, the children are off. This year we're going away to Wales with the children over New Year, so that would be wonderful. But there is a kind of a post-Christmas blues, which people who play Santa Claus can tend to get. So January, people are quite low, and it's quite a good idea that we've got all these Santa communities to just cheer people up and say, right, let's think, what was the best thing you had this Christmas? What was the best thing you did? And sort of lift people again, because it can get when I'm not sure how to put it, but when people have lit up when they see you because you're in your red and white suit, and now you walk in and there's no reaction because it's just an old man with a beard, that can be a bit saddening, a bit bring you down. But not, I'm not like that. I'm still happy anyway. But I understand why some people do get like that.
Mike, what is happiness to you?
Happiness is my life. Happiness is being able to make someone else happy. Happiness is yeah, being able to spread some joy and having enough yourself and knowing that you're helping other people to have enough as well. I mean, this is today is the World Human Rights Day, and if we could get rid of all the destruction and disaster and attacking of human rights, I mean, that would be a huge cause for happiness. I mean, Amnesty today were pushing the Amnesty Collective and saying we can all do something to help with human rights. I mean, if I've only got a minute, I can sign a petition. If I've got 10 minutes, I can write to my MP, either a real letter or an email. And if I've got longer, I can join with a campaign or I can go on a protest. And I think, if we can stop people's human rights being damaged, that will hugely increase the amount of happiness in the world. I mean, imagine that you have a particular religion and you're being persecuted because of it. That can't be right, can it? Or because you're a particular nationality, you're being persecuted. That can't be right. And there's stuff we can all do to help with that. And that, to me, everything we're doing helps build up happiness. Yeah.
It's also great that you mentioned that today is Human Rights Day. How important is human rights to you?
Well, it's vital. I mean, being a human, I see the need to defend human rights. We're all humans. We all allegedly have these same rights, but some people are being denied their rights, and we have to do what we can to stop that happening. And it's very easy to sit somewhere like Britain and think, yeah, we're good on human rights, but we're not as good as we should be. And I mean, it's all very well saying, I'll write a letter to the government of Turkey because of the way they're treating homosexuals. But in Britain, we're not all that great to homosexuals either. Or I'll write a letter to China because of the way they're treating Muslims. But in Britain, we're not all that great to Muslims either. We, we haven't got laurels to rest on. We really need to work for human rights. That's what I think, anyway.
Spot on, Mike. So, from Human Rights Day, World Humanitarian Drive has an Honoring the Honorable initiative to identify and recognize individuals and organizations for their contributions to this world by honoring and awarding them. How important is honoring the honorable initiative in these times?
Again, I think it is absolutely vital because if you look around the world, dishonorable people are doing so well. Dishonorable people are in government. Dishonorable people are earning a fortune. Dishonorable people are getting to taste the edge of space. Honorable people need to be honored for the honorable work that they do, for the good work they do. I'm sorry, I know I sound a bit opinionated, but that's what I think. I think it's vital that we honor the honorable.
So, Mike, if somebody wanted to be Father Christmas, what is your advice to them?
Well, I think I would say look into yourself. Why do you want to do it? Is it something that will give you happiness and which will let you help other people to be happy? And if it is, then do it. You can work for an agency who will provide you with a suit, or you can contact local schools and local charities who perhaps can't afford a paid Santa, and you can buy yourself a suit. You can get a suit really cheaply and it doesn't look great, or you can get, say, you can pay £50 and get a close enough approximation to a Ruby's Santa suit. So you've got the white fur and the red suit, and rather than just like a line of white fabric, and you look like a Santa. And if you work on it and behave like a Santa, that's all you need, really. It's nice if you know the reindeer. It's nice if you know the languages. It's nice if you can get the ideas of how to get to details about the children without them knowing that you're pumping them. But be kind, be happy, be sincere, and you can be Santa. You don't have to be old, white, and fat. I've got lots of friends who are Santas who are none of those things.
Mike, what is your message to children around the world?
I suppose it would come back to my always thing, which is you're great and you deserve praise, and keep being kind. It's wonderful when I see you being kind, and I love to see it. So please keep being kind.
What are your future plans? Do you have any upcoming projects that you would like to promote? And how could our virtual audience get in touch with you, Mike?
Um, I have a Facebook page for Henley Santa. People can contact me there. The, Tonight I'm on a charity cruise for a Make a Wish Foundation type thing. That's sort of preoccupying my mind at the moment, and that should be wonderful for the recipient. The goodbyelonely.co.uk is something I'm involved with as Father Christmas, so I'll be doing like Christmas things there on Christmas Eve and that. Um, I think mainly the project I would love people to get involved in is helping human rights, is write that letter, send that email, sign that petition. And there are human rights abuses happening all over the world. So all over the world, anyone who can help, please help.
And here's another silly question for Santa. So, what snacks do you want left for you?
Sorry, I
What
didn't quite
snacks?
get.
What snacks does Santa want left for him?
Ah, right. Yep, yep. I get it now. Yes. Well, do you know what I really like is a biscuit, a cookie, and my particular favourite is not a gingerbread man, but a round gingerbread cookie with plain chocolate chip in it. But any cookie anyone leaves, it's left with love, and I love it. And you can sort of tell I love it, can't you? But what I would ask as well, if you're putting out a carrot for the reindeer, could you chop it up into 9 bits and then they don't fight over it? Was that okay, or is that? If not, don't worry, because we'll just divide them up between houses. But yeah, a cookie is lovely, or a mince pie, not a
Okay.
roti.
That's nice, Mike. So, finally, this question, we always ask our guests this question. What is your inspiring message to the world?
Well, I think it comes down to be kind. Look for other people being kind and praise them for being kind. It's not much of a message, is it? But it's essential.
Yeah, so thank you so much for sharing with us your words of wisdom, and inspiring the world with your story. So, in honor of international recognition for your virtue in persistently serving and inspiring humanity with your noble deeds, World Humanitarian Drive would like to award you with an Inspiring Humanitarian Award. So,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Oh no, thank you. I'm blown away.
Thank you for all your humanitarian works, and here's to many more. So thank you for getting us also into the festive mood and brightening up our spirits. Congratulations. And
Oh, thank
then, so thank you so much. And then we would also like to share a quotation by our special guest, Mr. Mike Facherty. So here's the Mike, could you see it?
I can see it. Yep.
Can you please read it?
Yes. Be kind whenever you can. You always can. Sometimes people make it hard for us to be kind, but it is always possible. It's like the Dalai Lama said, isn't it? Be kind if you can, and you always can.
Thank you so much, Mike Facherty. We truly enjoyed the discussion with you. So we hope you enjoyed today's discussion with Mr. Mike Facherty, that it motivated you to get into the spirit of Christmas and to share your talents in making this world a brighter place. Here on Inspiring Millions Show, we present you with brilliant people from around the world. So feel free to connect with them on social media, and together, let's make a difference in the world. We definitely all need inspiration, especially in these times. Listening to people's stories enrich our lives. If today's discussion inspired you, please like it, share it, send us a comment. Do share with us your takeaways from today. Follow us in our social media accounts. Click subscribe on our YouTube channel, WHD Media. Visit our WHD website, www.whd.org.uk, for more inspiring events. Everyone, stay safe and healthy. These are times we should strengthen our bodies, minds, emotions, and our faith. Please remember to have compassion, be kind to yourself, others, and our planet. To our frontliners, we salute you. We thank you for your hard work, sacrifices, and dedication to humanity. Love and virtual hug to you all. WHD would like to greet all those celebrating their birthdays, including Happy Andrada Gra, my favorite fashion designer and sister, and those celebrating their special milestones this week. Happy celebrations. Have a wonderful weekend. On behalf of WHD team, especially those working behind the scenes, WHD Chairman Dr. Abdul Basit Saeed, WHD Director of Global Operations Ms. Sarah Wilson, WHD's 12 Honorable Secretary Generals, we thank you, our virtual audience from around the world, for joining us and supporting our show. This has been World Humanitarian Drive's Inspiring Millions Show. I'm Viva Andrada O'Flynn. Please join us again next Friday. We will have a discussion with Dato Seri Leslie Lee of Malaysia as we inspire the world here on Inspiring Millions Show.